Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. If you've been following me, you would know that I have actually been to the OBGYN. I did a uterine biopsy done. If you guys don't know what that is, basically, I'm going to try to not be so squeamish here with you guys, but they literally go in and they kind of scrape or suction out the uterine lining, and they send sections off to pathology, a lab, to look over and see if there's any cancer cells or if there's anything going on. And usually women have this done because unexplained bleeding, they've had pain down there, or they probably had a miscarriage that didn't fully miscarriage, and things like that. And there's possibly a whole bunch of other things that why OBGYNs will do this, but I had it done in office and it was so painful for me. It's going to be uncomfortable, already painful already it is, but it's only like a 15-20 minute procedure, but it feels like you're laying there forever. And even with the lidocaine numbing on my cervix, it still was painful. This especially by the second pass. It was not the greatest. So I ended up um so they sent it off. They said it was a possibility. Since they didn't get enough material, I'd have to go to I'm gonna have to end up doing a one that where I have to go under anesthesia in day surgery. So we had that planned. I was thinking, probably maybe months out because surgical stuff goes. But actually they were like, "Oh, we can get you in 2 weeks." Okay. So I did that yesterday and I'm actually doing really well. It was actually a great experience. Um yeah, so I had to be there like at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. It was still dark outside. Never mind that it's here in Texas. We had the whole like snow apocalypse, or should I say ice apocalypse. It really wasn't so much snow. It looks like snow, but most of it was just really like, think of it like slush or an icy texture. It was more just ice. Um, and where I need to go, I had to go over a lot of bridges and everything. And so I was like worried. I'm thinking, okay, my thing is on Tuesday. This hit this past weekend and it was still freezing over. And I couldn't figure out what to do. Am I going to still have this? I haven't heard from anybody. So I'm thinking it's still going on. So I sent a message knowing they may not respond for 2 days. Well, it'll be too late by then. And I did get a message back though, which is kind of great, from the main doctor that works in the office, and she's telling me, she said, "Yeah, the your doctor is, they're everything is still on the go so far we know of. You will get a call like we work 24 hours if emergencies happen or we have to reschedule. You'll know way before you even come. You'll probably wake up that morning thinking you're gonna have to get up and get ready, and you're gonna see the message and or a call from us, and I'll let you know, hey, we either postponed it or we just delayed it by an hour or 2 hours or whatever." But so far, they said if you don't hear nothing, assume it's still going on. So I assumed it was still going on. I did get a call that evening, Monday evening, from the actual surgeon themselves. They said, yes, the roads are really good around here. They've been sanding like crazy and everything's going to be good. Just we allow for extra time. So surely, if you don't feel comfortable driving, let us know. We can reschedule. This is not like an emergency. So just let us know today if we can. So, because since your surgery is the first of the day, we need to know before then so we can bump everybody else up and let them know that they can be here earlier if they can. So we can go ahead and get things rolling so that the OR's just not sitting there empty for 2 hours. So, yeah, so in the long run though, I went in, concierge was great. We did valet parking, which was free. It was actually really good. The lady thanked me for doing the e-check-in, which I'm the type of person, I'm that patient that will do a check-in. I'll do the check-ins, I'll do any paperwork, I'll do everything I can if you send it to me before my appointment. So it means less time me sitting in the waiting room. I hate just sitting there filling out a bunch of paperwork, because my biggest pet peeve is you're giving me a bunch of paperwork to fill out, right? And we all know it's not just 1 or 2 pages, it's front and back 4 or 5 pages plus a bunch of signatures and a whole page you have to read paragraphs and then sign it. And you're trying to figure out, do I just sign or do I read it and sign it? What do we do? So before you even get past writing your name and date of birth, you're over here like, they're already calling you back. And then you're like, well, I'm still filling out the paperwork. And they're like, oh, you can continue to fill it out in the room. But when you're in the room, they're still talking to you and asking you the same questions that's on the paperwork. And so they're filling it out on the computer. Okay, do I still need to fill out the paperwork? And it's like, it's so, I mean, I've gone to so many appointments where I'm like, I'm done with my appointment, already talked to the doctor, did everything, and I still have a blank piece of paper. I still have a blank, clipboard with papers that I haven't even touched really because they moved me along, which is good. I didn't have to wait forever. But you just wait. It's like it's a waste. What was this? Like, you might as well give me a crayons and a coloring book. You just want to busy me because you're still gonna ask me the same questions. I don't know. So I'm so glad a lot of medical places actually everything's gone on digital where they like get the portal. It's secure. We'll send you the links. Sign up for text messaging. I highly advise it. I know no one likes spam. They don't like any of this stuff, but I highly advise it. If your doctor offers text messaging or they offer a portal or whatever you call it, an email addresses, whatever it is, sign up for those emails, sign up for those text messages, and sign up and definitely get the portals. It's worth the space in your phone to have because, especially the older you get, because one, they use those. That's the main source of them using when they want to communicate with you. That's what they like to communicate with. They don't want to pay somebody to sit there on the phone and calling you to tell you about your appointment and to remind you of your appointment. It's cheaper for them to just send a mass text that's automated. It knows to send out at midnight, send everyone who has an appointment 2 days from now at midnight, exactly on the dot, or 12 hours. If their appointment's at 4 in the afternoon, 4 a.m., send them a text. They have 12 hours to make 24 hours or whatever it is to figure out they need to reschedule or cancel or what. And not only that, but some of them let you respond by saying yes to confirm, no to cancel, or maybe for rescheduling, or something like that, And not only that, I love the portals because a lot of the doctors now actually put doctor's notes in them. So those work really well because they have after visit summaries. If you forgot what y'all talked about, it's in there. Go back and reread it. And and not only that, I love being able to at 8:00 at night. I know the office is closed, but what I like about this is that I can literally get on any portal they have. They call it a portal, but it could be like the app or whatever one they want to call it, and literally send a message to my doctor. And my doctor could be still up, even though if I'm laying there at 8 or 9 o'clock at night and I'm just not feeling well, my doctor may get up at 2 in the morning and just randomly check their messages because they couldn't sleep or they have to make hospital rounds early that morning or something. They can check their messages and see it and they can respond to me. So when I wake up the next morning, I got a response. I didn't have to worry about it. There was one time I sent a message and I knew the doctor's office was closed on Friday. I sent a message. It was like 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday evening, I think it was. I actually got a response from the doctor like on a Saturday afternoon, knowing they're not open because they can get on their own app. They can do this from home. They don't have to sit there at a desk. They don't have to sit there at a computer. They don't have to go into the office. They don't have to worry about answering phone calls. They don't have to worry about all that stuff. They can just literally pull it up. It gives them a notification. Hey, you got a message. Hey, this patient reached out. Of course, not only that, it's cost effective. And if it's cost effective for them, which means less money out of your pocket. If you have to, and they're more likely to be able to accept more insurances because the premiums are lower. Because they don't have, it works. It's a win-win all the way around. Now, I'm not going to say there are some doctors like this that will take advantage of this and they don't share the savings and they will just pocket that extra money. And they're like, oh, I have to pay technology cost. Okay, you just have to pay for what, internet? Because especially if you're working out of a major like hospital network, like let's say, Well, I'm in Texas, so like Texas Health, or you have Baylor. Baylor's everywhere. It's like Baylor Scott White or whatever now. Or you have, I think Texas Health is part of Presbyterian. You have, I'm trying to think of all those, I think it's St. Joseph's. I'm trying to think of all the hospitals out there. Medical City. Um, I'm trying to think of anything else. But yeah, there's a bunch of baby Euro hospitals too. But when you have major ones like that, those are the ones that you're really gonna. There's the you really don't have to. The doctors really don't have to pay nothing to have internet access to those. It's a group big old administrative cost, and you trust me, their premiums are low for internet because they need that internet, especially when technology is changing. A lot of devices they use in medical devices they use in those buildings require internet, is Bluetoothing. They require it. So I mean, like I said, I highly recommend to sign up for that. Okay, with putting that aside though, my appointment was actually great. So she thanked me for doing the e-check-in. She asked me a couple more extra questions. Maybe I missed it or something. And I think it was like 4 or 5 questions, was the yes or no ones. And then I think it was more like COVID questions. And then after that, she was like, okay, well, I'm going to walk you around. So she walked me around like the desk area. It was really nice. And I could smell like coffee. And I'm so mad because I had a fast and I didn't get any sleep the night before because my cats were brats the night before. So they had the zoomies, they were running around, they were making messes, noise, whatever you call it. I don't know. Maybe it's just they were trying to keep me awake so I wouldn't miss my alarm. But apparently I was up an hour before my alarm went off. And it was crazy because I had to get up that morning to go. I had to get up that morning. I had to take a shower. And then I'm used to doing a routine after I take a shower. I'm used to like go putting my deodorant on, my lotion, my sprays. Whether I go anywhere or not all day and I'm just putting on some more PJs, that's just the routine I do. I layer it. I'm a layerer. So that sounds weird, layerer. But anyway, so like it was so weird for take a shower and just throw clothes on. They didn't even recommend me wear like a bra or like that. Definitely I'd have to wear underwear because of what the procedure needing. I mean, I'm going to have to wear a pad afterwards, obviously, because I might have bleeding down there. But other than that, they're like, just don't even bother wearing. Just be comfortable. Wear loose clothing. So I just wore my PJs. So I literally got up, took a shower, got out of the shower, dried off, threw PJs on. But I was smart. I actually put my PJs in the dryer while I was taking a shower so they would be warm. So as soon as I got out of the shower and I dried off, threw my underwear on and went straight to the dryer and literally like threw my clothes on while they were still warm. And then I went straight from that and I was like, okay, so I grabbed my wallet. I grabbed an extra pad because I don't know. I was thinking, I don't know if they're going to give me a pad. I'm pretty sure they would, but just in case, I want to be prepared because I'm an adult like that. And I got a water because I saw I could have, which I was mad because I really wanted some coffee and I was hungry already. And then I was able to take my morning pills, which is typically my thyroid pills, my cholesterol pill. My only thing I didn't take was my vitamin D because it melts and I didn't want if it had any like sweetener in it, because it's supposed to taste good, I guess. And I didn't want to jeopardize anything, so I just skipped that pill. And then I took my folic acid, and that was it. I took those pills, and then I drank my water, and I decided, well, let me feed the cats on the way out so I don't have to worry about it later. Fed the cats, and my dumb butt walked out the door and left my nice cold water. I was so mad because I drink alkaline water and I love it. I like the Target brand. I think it's Good and Gather. I really do like it. I don't know why. And it's cheap too, and it tastes good. To me, it tastes better. I actually taste like I'm actually drinking water and not, because when I drink any other brand, it seems like I'm even more thirsty while I'm drinking it, so it's crazy. Actually, I think I have a bottle right here. Yeah, this stuff right here. So I don't know if you'll see that because it's clear. This is from actually yesterday afternoon. It's the second bottle I had. It's supposed to be, I think it's at like, where am I? Let me look. It's a 9.5. There is a lot of people out there, and you see YouTube videos and stuff. You see them. They'll people talk about it. They knock it down. They say alkaline water is like a money racket. They're saying you do realize when you drink that water, it goes in your stomach. Your stomach is highly acidic. So what was the point? I don't care. It seems to work for me. So I'm going to continue to do it. And I can get, this is 23.7 ounces. It's a good, and it's got the sport top, which I like too. I can get this. I can get like 6 of these for like $5 or $6 at Target. So it's like $1 a bottle. If I'm paying $1 for some water, I mean, I can't even get a Zorka regular 16-ounce bottle water for $1, at 7-Eleven, So it's like, to me, I'll take it. So anyway, so I started to drink it. It was cold and it felt so good. And I was like, and you know what? There's something else to this. I don't mind drinking a little bit of water in the morning, first thing, and I wake up. Maybe I need to start doing that before I have my coffee, just at least a cup. And I started to drink it and I left it at home. I realized this when we got in the car. My husband was warming up the car because it was obviously, this is when everything was so fresh with the ice and everything like that. And I had not been out of the house since. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got in the car. I'm like, just take your time, driving. But we got in the car and it was dark and it was like crazy because I hadn't been out and I had not seen snow in the dark in decades. So, yeah, it was crazy. But, I ended up, once I got in the car, we started to back out the driveway. And then I was like, I was reaching down. I was thinking, oh, I forgot my water. This man was like, he likes to drink the Ozarka waters. We have like 3 different brand waters here. I don't know why, but we do. My daughter likes the smart waters. So we'll buy those. We'll buy a case of those or 2 from like Sam's. And then I'll get my water from Target. And then, of course, my husband, he's fine with the good old Ozarka water. So the bottles. So he goes, you can just drink mine. And I'm like, okay. Because he's like, otherwise we're going to be late. I have to get out of the car, unlock the door, run back inside, get your water, lock the door back up, get back in the car. And then we're going to he was like, that extra 2 minutes would have been a big deal. Apparently it wasn't. But he, I was like, fine. I was like, but don't get mad if I drink all this whole entire bottle of water and you don't have nothing. He goes, I have a whole jug in the back, so we're good. So he's all good. So we ended up going we drove out to the hospital. We were just really inching it, and we're like kind of sort of sliding, trying to get out of the neighborhood. Once we got out of the neighborhood and got on the highways, it really wasn't that bad. We passed by several sand trucks, and it was actually not as bad as people were saying it was. Yes, like a 3 or 4 lane highway was jumped down to like 1 or 2 lanes, but there was hardly anybody on the road, so we got perfect timing. And once we got there, like I said, the concierge lady was great. I answered her questions. We got in there. She was like, okay, I'm going to walk you to the elevator and I'm going to go with you up to the 2nd floor. She was really nice. I was like, okay. I felt like I was VIP. She was so sweet, and it was nice. And I was thinking, okay, got up there and she's like, yeah, there's coffee right there. I'll check you in. You go ahead and have a seat, So the seats, as soon as my husband sat down, he's like, ooh, these are like theater seats. They were pretty though. I'd say that. They were pretty. I took a couple pictures. I showed them my daughter and she was like, ooh, bougie. But yeah. We sat there. It was us and like another couple that was there. I think the other couple was there for us. And I happened to see on the TV screen, sometimes the TV screen they have like you're given a special number and then it tells you like, are you in pre-op? Are you in surgery? Are you in recovery? Whatever. Something like that, And I'll tell you like it's color coded. And so I was, so I didn't know which one I was, but I kind of took a guess at it. And I'm like, since I just took her back, I think that's my number. And I was like 33 or 88 or something like that. I know it was a double number. And, I know it was a 3 and 8 somewhere there. And I was like, I think that's my number. And he was like, I don't know. So once we got called back and, she, like, the girl who did a thing, she was like, let me check the oxygen tank because you may need one. We'll just see it on there. They just make sure the oxygen's always full in the rooms. So mine apparently was kind of empty. So they just changed that out. So I had to wait for her to situate the bed. And then once I got in the bed, it was like a nice private room. And I was in there. She gave me this whole, like, plastic of nothing but, like, sterile, like hospital gown, you have your socks, you have everything, all your garb. So everything except for the hat. The anesthesiologist is the one who gave me the hat. But I'm like, okay. So I figured, and she's like, yeah, there's a bathroom. It's like a suite mate bathroom. So my room and the room next door to me share that one bathroom. And then, so she's like, make sure you lock both doors. So I don't think there was anybody next to me because the door was locked already from the inside. That was weird. But, um, but I went in there. She had me pee in a cup because of my age. And, mainly it's just to make sure I'm not pregnant because of the procedure they had to do. Of course it was negative. I knew it was going to be negative. But anyways, but, uh, yeah, so I got ready and they hooked me up. They were so nice. The hard thing about it is they could not find, took the longest part was they couldn't find a vein on me. And I'm like, I drank all this water for nothing. I'm like, I tried. I used heat. I did everything I can, but they could never find veins on me. And I told them, I said, we know I'm never going to be a junkie that shoots up because I can't find a vein on me. You see them, you kind of can feel them, but when you stick the needle in, there's nothing there. So I'm like, they're just really deep, and my veins like to move, and they're tiny. So God forbid if I ever need any fluids, IV wise, and I'm out there on the street and somebody needs to hook me up. Good luck finding something. So, but I got that done, and it's funny. The first one, I'm gonna show you guys. This is the day after. So this was what happened. Isn't that crazy? It doesn't hurt. But yeah, it was from my vein. And she's like afraid that she's like, I know it didn't blow because you're not in pain or nothing, but she was concerned about it. So she's like, and then the anesthesiologist came in and she's like, no, that looks good. I mean, it just bruised a little bit, but it looks good. And then she's like, well, do you want me to start it? And the nurse was like, do you want me to start another one on the other arm just in case? And she was like, yeah, if you want to, but this one looks good. And so she was like, well, it's better to have two than have one, and then it really wasn't that good as you thought it was. So, and I was fine. I'm the most compliant patient. Like I said, you tell me when, where, and how. I will do the best I can as long as you take care of me. I will do what you tell me to do, but you better do good by me. You know what I'm saying? That's how I do my friendships wise. I will do my best to be there for you and listen to you and help you out and do whatever I can do to help you. As long as you return that favor, or as long as you do good by me too as well. When I need you, I expect you to step up. That's how it works, right? If we do that with everybody in the world, it wouldn't be that bad. So, but anyway, so the second IV, let me see if I can pull my sleeve up. I'm holding my phone. You can barely see it, but it's like right kind of in there. You see that little dot? They did one in my hand. I had to do it in my hand. They don't really like to do them in the elbows if they can help it because of the bend, and so forth. Even though my arms are going to be straight out during when I get in the OR room, it's still sometimes uncomfortable. So they prefer to do it on the wrist or on the hand if possible. But the one at the end of the elbow, the vein is bigger. So you have to use less medicine because you have more space, and it doesn't take as long for it to get there. But if they have to do it in the wrist or the hand, they will, and it still works. It just takes a little longer. I just told the anesthesiologist when she came to see me, she was like, girl, I got you. You're good. We're all good. Everything's great. She was so sweet. They're all young, but they're really good and nice. Like the new generation of doctors, we don't have to worry about them. It's the old people we have to worry about it. Don't hate me if you are an older person. I'm talking about over the age of 50, 60 years old, and you watch my channel and you don't feel offended. Trust me, I respect your generation. Because without your generation, I wouldn't be here. But people that are in their like upper 20s, mid 20s, and higher, we don't have to worry. I think they kind of got, most of them got it down. They understand bedside manner. Especially the women. I don't think I had any male doctors yesterday except for one. It was just a technician, but yeah, it wasn't that bad though. Um, he was just, I didn't see him until I actually got in the OR room, and I briefly looked at him, and I don't even remember what he looked like, but I briefly looked and I was out. So I think he was putting like the little like pressure things on my legs or something, because the way I had to position my legs in the stirrups. So I think he was putting those on me, but that's it. or they were like straps to hold, I guess, my legs open because when you relax, you kind of go flax. So to keep them open and good positioning, that's kind of what they use, I guess. I don't know. I didn't even dare to look up this procedure that much because the less I know sometimes the better, but it's not always. I'd rather just read a little bit about it than watch it sometimes. I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so they got me back, I think around a little after 7:20, something like that, 7:30 or whatever it is. And I kid you not, I felt when I was asleep, actually I remember I went in there, I remember transferring from one bed to the other, and I remember me laying down. They positioned my arms. They barely just started positioning my arms out, but my I remember her putting oxygen on me, and she goes, "Just take 3 deep breaths to fill your lungs real good." So I did that of oxygen. And then the fourth one, she's like, "Okay, and this is going to be the actual medicine." And start counting back. And I didn't even count because as soon as I breathe in that first one, I immediately go, "I'm falling asleep now." I kid you not. I literally said, "I'm falling asleep now." And I was just off. And I was asleep. And the funny thing about it is I remember what I was dreaming in my head. I dreamed somehow, and it's funny because I never really looked this up. I never even cared about doing this. I mean, it would be nice, but at the same time, I kind of don't care now anymore about it. But I was on a cruise. Why was I on a cruise? I don't know. It was like the bougie, like think of like Norwegian cruises, the Ritz Carlton cruise, Think of it like you're in those commercials and the sun is setting, and it was like literally the water was calm. It was warm breeze. It was nice. It was very quiet, peaceful. And I was like, and I was just me, but I was kind of aware. I think my husband was in the forward background, and then and I remember saying something, I guess when I was waking up, that I started to wake up, my anesthesiologist said that I said something along the lines of saying that my daughter, you know, really needs to come see this. And it's like, or whatever it is. It's like weird. But like, it's like maybe she was on my brain or something subconsciously, but because she was supposed to be there, but she was sick. And plus the ice on the road, she didn't feel comfortable driving. And she ended up getting the flu also a few days earlier. And she had to go to the ER and get medicine and everything. And so I'd rather her not even be near a hospital if she's sick, if she was still kind of, recovering. So it just didn't work out for us. So she just ended up, in a way, it's kind of a good thing. Maybe this helped me also to not be so dependent on her always going to have to be there when I have stuff done. I gotta be me. I gotta be an adult, a real adult. I'm an adult, but like, grown up adult. Anyways, whatever that's supposed to mean. But I do know that I got through it and I was so proud of myself because I asked her, I said, "How long did it take?" She goes, "From right when the doctor started to when she was finished, it was in and out in 6 minutes." You mean prepping me took 2 hours? Recovery, when I finally got to my actual room, out of recovery, but into my room, it was like a good another hour and a half, 2 hours. So she's like, "Yeah, prepping was the longest time. I mean, and recovery's the longest time. But actually, and everything turned out good. And I already got my results, which is crazy. She said it can take a week, but the surgeon already sent my results today. She actually followed up with me and she said, "Hey, everything looks good, I had like one small polyp, which they got rid of. It was not, but they checked out the polyp. It was benign. Everything was good. They got rid of that, and everything else, all the tissue, everything was good. No cancerous, nothing. So everything's peachy king." And actually, she sent me a picture of the inside of my uterus, which I actually, I haven't posted it up online, but I did make if you follow me on Instagram, I did make like, how you do the little thoughts, bubbles underneath the chat. I did put on there, I said, "My uterus is like a pink moon." It does look like a pink moon though, because that's what the anesthesiologist, she's like, "Yeah, look at your look, this is a picture. Doesn't look like a moon, but it looks like it's pink. It looks really pretty." And I'm like, "Yeah, it does." And so I told my daughter, I said, "I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to frame it And then I'm going to make it like a conversation piece and just see. I'm going to title it Pink Moon and see what people think it's really a moon. But actually, it's my uterus. But, anyways, call me sick and twisted, but I think that it's pretty. It's not like it's all gory or anything. And I think it's kind of interesting. So, I don't know. Would you do that? Would you have a body part like that looks like something else, but not like provocative, but like, you know what I mean? It looks like it could be a bone that you took like an x-ray. It looks like a bone, or it doesn't look like a bone, but it looks like an island or something, or it looks like a picture of something. Like people do with ultrasounds. They see the picture of their kid and it's like, hey, it looks like, it doesn't look like a baby. It looks like something else. And it's like, and they post it up on our fridges. So I'm thinking, why can't I do that with my body? So, yeah, I thought about that. So, yeah, that's going to be on the bucket, not the bucket list, but on the project list to do. And then, so yeah, all in all, I'm doing good. Health wise, I'm doing good. As far as recovery goes, I had no bleeding, which is crazy afterwards. She did take 5 cc's of blood for me. They had a bag because I am anemic. So they did have a bag sit off the side for me just in case, but I didn't end up using it. I did, my sleeping anesthesia was good. I handled it very well considering my asthma and everything. They said, oh, you did really well. We didn't have to really bag you or anything like that. You breathe in, you breathe, everything was good. Um, and you tolerated well. I didn't have any nausea or nothing. So, and all the people were great. In fact, I was already today going through trying to remember whose names they were, the first and last names, because I'm trying to nominate them with, there's like a different awards, like a Daisy Award, I think it was, and there's a Sunshine Award and different awards they give away. So, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to try to see if I want to nominate a couple of my nurses because nurses don't really get as much, recognition as they should. The doctors always get the glory because because their names everywhere on the paperwork. But what's the nurses' names? Do you remember? I mean, it's like crazy. I remember the first names, but I didn't. But in order for me to submit the form, it wants me to put a last name, and I don't know this person's last name because typically on their badges it will have their last name, but most of the time they just say, "Oh, I'm so and so." They just say their first name and they only write their first name on the board. So I mean, like, who are you? So I had to hunt down, call the day surgery place, ask them what the name is. This lady really kind of networked a little bit, and then she got me back to me, and she told me the name that she believes that's who it is, and so she gave me her full name, and so I submitted it today. So I want to give them recognition because the whole department was good. Don't get me wrong, everybody was good, even my surgeon, everybody was good. But this nurse, the reason I want to recognize her because she didn't let her ego get in the way of things when she was doing the IV. When she was not sure and she thinks it was good, she knows it was probably good, but she actually sought reassurance, not just because she was not sure. It was more because she wanted to make sure that one, it was going to work for me. She kept saying, I want to make sure you're going to get the medicine you need. She kept telling me that over and over again. I want to make sure it's that, because she kept asking me, does it sting? It's supposed to sting when she put like rubbing alcohol, I think, or whatever it's called, like saline solution, the salt or whatever. It's supposed to give you a slight sting when they flush your system out, the vein out. But I couldn't feel it. And that's why she was like, and I'm like, it's not stinging. And normally I would taste it too. It would taste like Sharpie, I want to say. And usually I tasted in my nose and my throat and stuff. And she was like, no. I was like, tell her. I said, no. And she was like, and it doesn't hurt. And it started to bruise up real quick. And she was like, she's like, I'm not so sure. Because if you're not feeling this, I don't think you're going to feel the medicine. And that's usually what the anesthesiologist really likes to use, that line to put the medicine in too. So she was like, and then when the anesthesiologist came in, because she was like, hey, we're ready, what's the holdup kind of thing. And she was like, oh, and everybody was kind of helping them out, trying to find the veins. And then she's like, you know what, it looks really good. But she was like, if you want to do another line, it's fine. So she was very patient with her. So the anesthesiologist was good. She was not rushing the procedure. They're not rushing things. They want to make sure they get it right as long as they get it right. Because I know that means I have to wait for them to come in and prep me because they're having a hard time with another patient. It shows me to be a little bit more patient because it could be me. And yesterday it was me. I was the patient that took a little longer to find a vein on. So, but it didn't seem like anybody was really rushing. And the nurse knew when to step back and when to and also the anesthesiologist knew to kind of stay in her lane as well. She was offering to help, but she also was like, she watched the nurse actually make the second line, which was in my hand, and she looks at, she goes, "Look at you, you did a rock star move," you know? She's like, "You did good," you know? So she cheered on her nurse. The anesthesiologist cheered on the nurse, that's what teamwork's about. And that's why when I got the nurse's name and I submitted her for the award, they said that they're also going to send me the paper one. And when you do the paper one, you can actually check the whole department. So I may do that so they know, everyone that was involved in my care will get recognized. But specifically, I want to also make sure she got recognized as well, because she didn't let her ego step in the way. She also was making sure that I was comfortable, but also making sure things were working right. And as well as she sought reassurance. And that to me takes a lot of effort to do. So, but anyway, so that's what I did yesterday. I'm feeling okay today though. I had a really bad migraine headache yesterday, and I think it was because it was the anesthesia. That's common, especially if I'm prone to migraines. And so I just really took it easy. A lot of caffeine, chocolate. The first meal I had, I think I had Burger King, because I really like their onion rings. I don't know why, I like their onion rings. They're really good. Especially if you get them the first ones of the day. Yeah, and they just opened for lunch, so I'm like, they were going to be good. And so I just got me a nice little Whopper with cheese and had the onion rings and had me a Coke, and I just laid around. But I was okay. I peed a lot yesterday, but surprisingly, no bleeding, which is good. But it's also concerning because it makes me wonder, am I starting to get anemic? Because you kind of won't bleed if you are anemic, because your body's trying to hold on to the blood, not running, because bleeding is secondary. So you don't, like, periods are secondary, so you're not going to bleed if it's not necessary. So that's a little concerning for me. So I don't know. I have to check on my paperwork and see if I need to actually get an appointment with my oncologist and see about if I need to check my irons again. I know I have an appointment probably coming up soon anyways. I want to say sometime this spring, I think I got to go in and do more labs. So we'll see how that goes. Here lately, though, for the past couple of years, they've been good. So I don't know, but I've been slacking on my iron pills and things. So I might need to get back on those. But all in all, I think it's been pretty good. The pathology, I have a post follow-up next week with the surgeon to reiterate everything, make sure we're on game. I'm supposed to start some progesterone pills. I'll probably start them probably the first of the month, probably the end of this coming up weekend, because to me it makes sense to start on the first of the month, and I can kind of keep track of it, and then see if they work, and then maybe see if I have a period with those. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this little story with me and my whole uterus issues. Especially if you're a woman, please do not feel bad if you are, worried over it. If you're like me, I have PCOS, but I also have, every time I do labs and I do, my hormone checks, I'm thinking, I'm going in my mid-40s. I'm thinking, am I going through perimenopausal? I have all these other issues, anxiety, all this stuff that's been linked to, hormonal. They all keep saying my hormones are fine, everything's good. Well, then how come I'm not having my periods? And how come I'm going through these other issues? What is happening here? So don't be afraid to reach out, please. And don't hide the stigma talking about periods and uteruses. It's biological. Uteruses are no different than eyeballs and ears and mouths and toes and fingers. I'm not saying we all have them, but most of us do. And so, I don't think it's the big deal to talk about it, especially if you don't hear. So, and it's educational. And you know what? If you got your stories, if you've been through this, I'm curious though. Even though my surgeon brought up doing an IUD that would help the periods go on, so I would have to do the progesterone pills every month and so forth, that I could just do that for 5 to 8 years, and then by that point it'll take me right into menopause, and then I can have it taken out and I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I'm not planning on getting pregnant anytime soon either. So, but I've heard too many horror stories with IUDs. And the likelihood of that, I really get a little squeamish with it. And I'm like, I really don't want to introduce anything foreign into my body yet. So if I can't help it, so I declined the IUD. I could have gotten it done yesterday while she was in there, scraping everything out. She could have already slipped one in there, so I'd been good, and I would never have to feel it, and it's already there, and I'll be good for 5 to 8 years. But I preferred not to. So, but it's your preference, and she honored that preference. She didn't push it. She just wanted to keep re-mentioning it, let her know it's still on the table. But she said, even after I had this done, if I still change my mind, I want to have it later on, I can. But preferably they don't like to put an IUD in after the age, I believe it's after the age of 48 or 49 or somewhere in there, but definitely not at the age of 50. They prefer not to do that because of the hormone part, and plus you should be starting to closely get into menopause. So IUDs are mainly made for those that are going to be supposedly fertile for more than 5 to 8 years, So if you're going to be fertile for that long, it makes sense to have one. But I've always done really well on progesterone pills, or have done really well on birth control pills. It was hard for me to get pregnant with my daughter, so without the help of fertility meds. So I think even now, I don't, even if, we tried, I don't think I would get pregnant. But not that I'm trying. So in case my daughter's watching this, trust me, that is off the books. I'm done. I've also, I'm contemplating talking to her, asking her about if I make it to about, I want to say 46, 47. I want to make it a couple more years. Then I probably will entertain go ahead and get a hysterectomy. I don't know if I want to get rid of the actual ovaries, because I think the ovaries is what makes the hormone. So I still want to keep my hormones there, but if I get a hysterectomy, I really never really have to worry about it. I had a couple of friends recently about the same age as me as already had a hysterectomy by their choice, and or whatever they choose, why they chose it. It's their business, but they seem to do really well on it, and they highly recommend it. They said that it worked really good. They didn't have any issues, and I'm thinking, okay. So, I mean, and they're about the same age as I am. So, of course, it all depends on the person and their body and whether other health issues they have going on. Since I tolerated this procedure, and it was a quick procedure, but since I tolerated anesthesia pretty well, that was my main concern, because I haven't been under anesthesia in decades. At least not like this kind of anesthesia. Of course, I had anesthesia whenever I had my teeth removed, but it was more of and that was different than me being in the hospital. So, this was different. So, yeah, I'm just thinking, having this done, it gives me a whole nother perspective knowing that I can do this. And it eased my anxiety. I think my anxiety got a hold of me. And that yesterday, though, I was shocked. I did take a diazepam before on the way over, but maybe because it kicked in good, and then they gave me some good juice after the fact. And then, when I got finished, they were handing me little Starbucks cups with apple juice. So that was nice, because I was like, they asked me if I wanted water, and I'm like, can I have anything else but water? I'm sick of water, And they were like, oh no, we have juice. You want juice? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take juice. I'll take the juice box. And so I sipped on the apple juice for a little bit, and I will, because I wasn't nauseous. I was just hungry. But other than that, I had a great nap. A great nap. They can bottle that stuff up, but maybe because I was unconscious, and also gave me a new perspective though. If I ever faint, I may welcome that fainting, because if that means I got a few second nap and just to reset my body, then let's do it, because I felt good afterwards, and I was fine. I was talkative. I was happy when we got done with everything. I tolerated it very well. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't saying outlandish things or nothing like that, like you see in the videos people do after anesthesia. I actually was pretty decent. They said I was pleasant. So I think I was just happy I did it. I was proud of myself. I got it over with. It was more anxiety than anything. And actually, when going into this, I really wasn't anxious. I really wasn't. I was anxious a week before, but the day before and the day of, I wasn't anxious. So I think it's because I got that point. I was like, I want to just get it over with. So Anyways, that's pretty much all as far as my uterus story goes and when everything I had done yesterday. I really want to welcome anybody that's women wise, especially, if you have a uterus. Though I'm not, because I don't want to exclude anybody that is trans, but if you have a uterus, so even if you are transitioning from female to male, but you still have a uterus. If you ever had this done, I welcome any comments down below. I've also welcome anybody that's had a hysterectomy done around on the 40s or whatever it is, and or anyone that's had a full hysterectomy, which means that you had your ovaries and your all reproductive system out. How does that work? And do y'all have any issues with bladder issues as well? Because I heard that can actually amp up the bladder problems because it gives it more space, and it could also, you have a risk of it prolapsing, like coming downward, because now you have space and there's nothing holding the bladder up because the bladder is on top of the uterus, and you take away the uterus, well, now the bladder has space. Is it like teeth? When you get a tooth taken out and you have a space and the teeth can shift? I'm wondering, does that happen on the inside? I'm curious. Doctor people, please answer that question. But don't mislead, don't misjudge. I should also put this out there, and I should have put this up in the video. But if you made it this far, just in case you two people are watching, I'm putting this disclaimer out. I am not a medical professional. Please do not go out there and say, hey, this YouTuber said we should do this. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is what happened. This was my opinions. This is what I did, and this is what my experience and my questions and my concerns, and I'm just seeking out some advice, and I'm also seeking out some testimonial things and opinions and so forth. Please be kind. Please know that a lot of people have belief systems in place where they may not everyone believes in anesthesia or surgeries or doing stuff like this, and I totally respect that. If your religious beliefs, if you don't agree with all that stuff, that's fine. You don't have to say anything at all. And if you don't believe in all this stuff, I do welcome that conversation too, because I'm curious on that too. I'm up for a friendly debate if needed, but I'm also up for any just conversational. So if you are grossed out by this video and me talking about uteruses, okay, you can keep scrolling. I'm just saying, you're not the target audience then. I'm sorry that you feel grossed out, because women do exist. Trans women exist, trans men exist, we people exist, and people with uteruses exist, so we do. And if it's in the hospital, if there's doctors out there that treat women issues, women's health, then you're gonna have to be a little bit broad, minded. You're gonna have to open it up your horizons here. So if you're uncomfortable about it, talking about it, or whatever it is, I hope you don't procreate, and I hope you're not out there trying to procreate, and you're not doing anything sexual, because it involves the sexual organs, which is aka the uterus. So with that being said, though, guys, please be respectful of my comments down below, and make sure you always like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay tuned. This was we considered probably a vlog. If you made it this far, I thank you for watching, because I did not think it was going to be 48 minutes long, but apparently it is. So thanks for listening to my story, my little testimonial, my little outing I did yesterday morning. I was back home. Even after I stopped by Burger King, I was already at home we had to wait till 11 till they opened, but I was home by 11ish. Not that bad. And off and on sleeping, ate, watched a couple of scary movies. I watched The Joker. I watched one the other day, and then today, well, not the other day, but the day before, but yesterday I watched Joker 2. I fell asleep partly through it, but I was like, what? And there was another one called Spin the Bottle, and it partly takes place in 1978 or something like that. I don't know. That movie was way longer than what it needed to be, and it was really dumb. It was all about the spin the bottle, and they're supposed to they end up awakening some kind of spirit or something like that, and pisses off this one girl from 1978, and she's out for revenge or something, and it's really dumb. So don't waste your time. I watch a lot of Shudder, so on Prime. I don't know why. I guess sometimes scary movies are great, sometimes they're not, but when you're feeling like crap, nice to know somebody else is feeling like crap too, because they're scared and you're not. So yeah, anyways. I'm looking forward though, guys. Bridgerton is coming out, by the way, also. I'm looking forward to Bridgerton. I'm that is coming out this weekend. I am so ready for it. I was so shocked that we were getting another season, but it's going to be, I guess it's going to tie up the loose ends of everything, but I'm so sad it's going to be the last. I'm not a Stranger Things person. I don't watch Stranger Things. I tried, eh, but maybe I didn't watch it long enough, but So, but Bridgerton is, I can get into that. I loved Gilded Age too. I really cannot wait till more of that. I really need more of that. Um, I did make a video, I think, on here. I was talking about Downton Abbey. I didn't get past the first season, really. I don't know why. I wanted to, and because I was looking forward to, because I remember they said the final season was in the theaters, and now it's coming to video. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, but yeah, I'm thinking about and then I also have the new Frida McFadden book. There's a new one out. I pre-ordered it. I think it just dropped. I don't know if it's dropped today. I don't know if it's dropping. There's a couple books I ordered, but I think hers dropped today, and I cannot wait to like listen to that. It's an audiobook. So I mean, I do both actual reading and audiobooks, but yeah, I like hers an audiobook form because it seems better. The whoever narrates them, actually she chooses some of the same similar people that narrate them, and they get the energy of it. I have not seen the movie yet, one of the Housemaid movies. I did read the whole series, and I have the books now, the actual hard copy books. But like I don't know if I'm gonna wait because I heard mixed reviews on it. Or people say it was really really good, and other people say it didn't really stick too much to the book, and then the book is better. I always hear that about a lot of movies. A lot of people saying the book is always better. So I don't know. I may just wait till it comes out on to rent or buy on TV. But yeah. I think that's pretty much all I got looking forward to so far. I'm trying to think what else I have left. That's it so far. I'm gonna start my sort of diet, but mostly exercise plan probably next week sometime, probably, because now that I got this stuff out of the way, I'm also going to be in the process of trying to clean out one of the rooms because I need to make room to put all my bedroom stuff, all the stuff that's in this room, into another room so we can start renovating in here. So if I do any future videos after that point, during that point when all this is happening, it would probably be you'll have a different background because I'll probably be staying somewhere else, or sitting somewhere else doing it and posting. In the meantime, I'm also still working on the true crime book or not the book, you know what I mean, but me writing the script out and what I'm going to say in that one. I think I'm going to break it up into probably 4 parts, and they're going to be kind of lengthy. They may be about an hour, 2 hour ish a piece because there's so much I want to include, and I don't understand why this book is so thick. And I did say at the beginning, I said there's so much in it. A lot of it could have been omitted, but as I'm kind of getting my resources into it, I'm kind of understand why Anne Rule really did put this out there the way she did. But I don't want to leave anything out because I feel like I'm doing y'all injustice. But at the same time, there's so much. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well just read the whole book to you guys. And I don't want another Love Is One video, that one was like 9 to 10 hours. And I don't even know if I still even have it on my YouTube channel, but I did at that time. And so I'm like, yeah. And that one was like 9 hours video. And that was the longest video I've ever done. So straightforward, like a whole 9 hours. But, I think I'm gonna put them out in parts. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and just do it all at one time and then film them, release it, and then do a premiere, release it, like one each day. So you can watch one on Monday or listen to it on Monday and then have another one on Tuesday and have another one on Wednesday, so you have something to watch through the week. But I promise you, I'm not rambling on those ones like I do now, like I'll do on this one. I promise you, I won't be rambling. This will be very scripted. It'll be a little bit more entertaining, hopefully, and you'll be able to follow it a little bit easier. But yeah, hope you guys will enjoy it because I'm putting, like I said, I'm the only person doing this. I did the reading, I did the researching, I did the writing, the scripting, the filming, the editing, and everything else in between. So just so you guys know that. So I hope you do have some appreciation for this. And I don't get paid for this. So I'm doing this all on my own. I'm just doing it on my own, whatever I feel like doing it. So like I said, that's why when I put videos out, take it for what it is. Speaking of, you made this far. Have y'all noticed all this cat hair on me? Never wear, and it's crazy. I can get this shirt straight out of my closet and I still get hairs. And my cats are never like up on my clothes. And it's so crazy. I even do it in the washer. I may have to get one of those balls that collect all hairs. You know, like cat hairs and stuff like that. And you put them in your dryer. I may have to get one of those and see if they work. I don't know. If you guys use those, comment down below and let me know. I can add that to my whole little laundry routine. Especially in blacks. Blacks, dark colors. Ugh, it's awful, right? I mean, this is clean. I look a mess. But I need to take a shower. You notice my clothes sore. It's all just dry. It's dry patches, but I'm getting better. I'm not as puffy either. So, yay. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great one. This has been very, very long. I didn't mean it for it to be almost an hour long. I was thinking maybe 20 minutes, but here we are. Longest video update ever. But I hope you guys, like I said, uteruses, movies, books, true crime, cat hair, all the above. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.